Dan B. Kim from South Korea, the challenger in this WBA flyweight title fight. 23 years old, 12 fights, 9 wins, 2 defeats and 1 draw. This is the first time she has fought outside of South Korea or Thailand, which is where all her fights have been up until this point. And so far she's been campaigning at minimum weight or light flyweight, so this is a step up for her. Her 13th fight in her 9th year as a professional. Susie Kentikian, the Killer Queen, WBA flyweight champion. A title she won back last July. She lost it against Moreno, but over 10 tough rounds on the undercard of Felix Turm against Predrag Radosevic, she got it back. It was a very difficult year for her in 2012, losing her WBA and WBO titles in consecutive fights. Hasn't managed yet to get the rematch with Melissa McMorrow, who took a WBO title. Up until that point, she was undefeated. She's got 35 fights, 32 wins, 2 defeats and 1 no contest. Also the International Boxing Federation flyweight champion. Boxing out of Hamburg by way of Yerevan in Armenia. Polite round of applause for Dan B. Kim. Won't be many fellow countrymen or fellow countrywomen followed here. Well, the referee going to the respective corners to issue the instructions rather than doing so in the centre of the ring, which is somewhat unusual. Well, he calls them to the centre of the ring now. And gave the instructions just one more time, just to be absolutely clear that both fighters know what is expected of them. Dan B. Kim, the challenger for this WBA flyweight title in the red. Susie Kentikian, the champion in the gold and black. I mentioned that she won this title back against Moreno last July, then defended it against Simona Galassi in December, winning by unanimous decision over 10 rounds once again. Her last 11 wins, actually, have all been over the distance. Hasn't had a stoppage since May 2008. Dan B. Kim, so far, by the look of it, a kind of head down, come forward fighter. Caught by a right hand there from Kentikian. Loads up again with that backhand. No pushing, says the referee. She does dip that head quite low, Dan B. Kim. It makes it timed a difficult target and then launches across the ring in pursuit of Kentikian. Good combination there from Kentikian as she looks to try and trap Kim on the ropes. Into the last few seconds of the opening round, it's been Kentikian who has been the aggressor for the most part in this opening session. Good jab just to finish the round there as well. One no contest on her record for Kentikian. That came against Aralee Musin in July 2007. An unintentional headbutt ended the contest. Nothing particularly clean landed in that opening round. Kentikian was eager to get to work, eager to throw some leather. None of it really connected solidly with Kim. Into the second round, Kentikian quickly across the ring, shooting out that jab, then just rotating that left hand. Plenty of head movement from Kim. She's trying to swarm onto the inside. The South Korean, not an easy thing to do against Kentikian. That's really where she likes the fight to take place as well. The close quarters, the referee again just warning Kentikian this time not to push. Right hand just tagged Kim as she tried to move in herself there. I mentioned that all her fights so far have been at minimum weight or light flyweight. There's not a huge difference in poundage in these kind of weights, and Kim got caught with a couple there. She comes in very square at times. Caught with the right hand herself and then threw one back. Kentikian trying to use the jab. Trying to fight Kim in a more orthodox fashion. I think that could be her best bet here because the South Korean, as I said, comes into her opponent quite square on, just throwing punches, and Kentikian will be tempted to just trade back with her at close quarters, confident that she'll get the better of those exchanges. But I think she may be able to pick her apart more if she actually just tries to box her. The referee just slightly concerned about the heads coming together there at the end of the second round. Susie Kentickian just sucking in the air, defending her WBA flyweight title. We'll see Felix Sturm later on, of course, after this fight, defending his IBF middleweight title against Sam Solomon. Here's some action from that second round. She does try to move the head, Kim, feinting from side to side, but when she comes forward, as I said, it's very square on, and you can see it there as she got hit with the left hand. Leads in with her head, really. The balance all coming forward. Two-handed attacks. They can be effective, but against an operator of Kentickian's quality, really, it would be surprising if that kind of approach paid any real dividend. We shall see. Into the third round. 2-minute rounds, 10 2-minute rounds being contested here. Right uppercut there was a good punch from Kentickian. And catches Kim again with a couple on the way in as Kim just tried to swarm forward, and she got caught with 2 or 3 good solid punches there on the way in as well. And really, I'm not sure if she can fight like this, the South Korean. She's walking onto punches from Kentickian. It's all very well being prepared to take punches to land your own, but she's not really landing any of her own at the moment. Wide right hand. I found a mixture of glove and jaw there from Kim. Kentickian just swaying a little bit further back out of range at times now, happy to duck underneath punches. It's an awkward style she's up against here. Might take a little while just to work it out. Work out the best method. The referee again just a little bit worried about the heads coming together. Nice jab there from Kentickian. Into the last 10 seconds of the round. Well, that's 3 rounds in the bank for the defending champion on my card so far. And that's a good right hand, followed by the left as well. One naturally follows the other. The rotation in from the right hand sets you up perfectly for the left. Clean blows in at close quarters there at times as well, and the gum shield can often make fighters look like they're smiling when they're not, but I think there was a hint of a smile there from Kentickian, certainly, and a short left there too. Found its way through. Again, the Grant gloves there for Susie Kentickian. There are differences between the different gloves. You look at something like an Everlast glove or an Adidas glove, and the padding will be more around the knuckle kind of area than the rest of the glove. Gloves, of course, just deemed in terms of how much they weigh. Where their weight is distributed is up to the glove maker, really. The Ray's gloves and the Grant gloves are more uniformly padded, so less padding in those two models around the knuckle than in the other gloves mentioned. What that means is that you can get more power into your punches, but they also don't protect your hand as much. So if you have hand problems, then a fighter generally won't want to wear them. You sacrifice power for protection, really, is the trade-off you make. Referee just, again, with a smile and a word for Kentickian. Well, I was talking about that in the earlier round. She does just dip her head and come forward. Certainly willing to engage, Kim, certainly willing to fight. Nice right hand there from Kim. Kind of smearing overhand right. It just caught Kentikian. Better this round from Kim. Hasn't been hit with quite as many punches. Trying to move that head from side to side. Nice jab. Really shot up and found the target. Right hand, though, comes in from Kim. Better, I'd say, from the challenger in that couple of minutes. Still not quite enough to give her the round, I wouldn't say. Could maybe have scored that one even. Just a short left. Just snapped the head slightly sideways. Hasn't been much work to the body from either fighter so far. They've mainly been head hunting. Kentikian's corner there, I think, just telling her to keep the work rate high. Our German's not exactly fluent, but that was the gist I was getting. Kentikian very quickly across the ring to her opponent as we start the fifth round. Left to the body there from Kentikian. It's been a rarity in this fight so far. Stinging left, just forcing Kim to take a backward step there. Backed up with a couple of left hands and then cupped with the right as well. Solid right hand from Kentikian. Kim, though, is very, very tough. She's soaking up these punches. I wouldn't say easily necessarily, but she certainly hasn't shown any sign yet that she's been significantly hurt by any of them. Left hand there from Kentikian. A less eventful round, this one, than the previous four. Kim just not coming forward in quite such straight lines as she had been previously. Was slapped with an uppercut there in the last few seconds before the bell as we reach the midway point of this one. The WBA flyweight title, Kentikian's title on the line at 8 stone, 112 pounds, as referee just makes his tour of the ropes, collecting the scorecards from the 3 scoring judges ringside. Just thrown off balance by the overhand right that didn't land. Ringside seats tonight, much sought after. into the second half of the fight, and Kantikian well out in front here. Difficult to see any other outcome so far than her having won every single round. It hasn't been completely one-way traffic, but she's just the better boxer in there. Again, throwing that right hand, and Kim doesn't land, and when it doesn't land, the momentum just brings her straight in behind it. She just comes walking in behind it. There's no real balance to it. Kantikian may want to try and draw that right hand, as she did there actually, and then punish Kim as she comes stumbling in. Both landing simultaneously with rights. Kantikian again throwing plenty of punches, but maybe, if anything, a bit over-eager. She is an all-action kind of a fighter, and that's the way she goes about every single one of her contests. Rather elaborate fake with the right hand. And then comes into Kim, who walks into her just to tie her up. These 2-minute rounds really do fly by into the last 15 seconds or so of the sixth. Stronger punching there. The left and the right were heavy from Kantikian. I think Kim felt those, and the bell will come at a good time for her at the end of this round. She's taking some punishment in there now. The referee having a good look, and on the bell she was really having to soak up some punches. Good, accurate work there from Kantikian. Well, it's going to be some show later on when Felix Sturm and Sam Solomon enter the ring. And a good show being put on by these two so far as well. A little bit messy on the inside at times. They both tend to dip their head in a little bit. Always a danger of a clash. Interesting there, Kim just keeping those legs stretched out straight. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to achieve, to be honest, because it has been shown down the years, despite any kind of innovation or alternative thinking, that the best way to recover between rounds is just to sit on your stool with your arms down by your side. The heart has to work that little bit harder if you elevate the arms. Even if you rest them on the ropes, you see fighters do that sometimes. Quick 1-2 there from Kantikian. And Kim just comes wading in behind the left hand. Kantikian, born in Yerevan in Armenia, left the country at the age of 8, started boxing at 12. 24-1 as an amateur, struggled to get fights. It's a familiar story for female boxers. The competition can be difficult to find. In amateur boxing, actually, the Women's European Championships have just got underway. Women's boxing very much on the up after the success of London 2012. 3 women's weight categories in that competition in the Olympics. This way, of course, the paid ranks, professional boxing. Kantikian right at the very top of her trade at the moment with that WBA title, which I don't think there's really any chance of her relinquishing this evening. End of another round, and it's been all action stuff in there, and a lot of credit does have to go to Danby King from South Korea. It's her first time fighting in Europe. And Tikian always with that right hand cocked, ready to go. And just fakes with it there to set up the left. Trying to set a few little traps here for Kim. Winging right hand. Didn't really manage to turn the hand into it. Maybe encouraging her to throw the uppercut there. Three rounds to go, including this one. This WBA flyweight title fight. A little bit of blood around the left-hand side of Kentikian's mouth. Difficult to see exactly where that might have come from. Maybe just a slight leak from the nose, possibly. Could just be a graze, a scrape from the tape around the gloves or the glove itself. Kentikian looking for that left hand. She set it up by feinting with the right in the round before, through the right, but not with any intent to try and land, just to try and force a reaction from Kim that she could then capitalise on. Referee again just with a quick warning to keep the heads up. It's been a clash of styles, this fight, in many ways, because to a large extent their styles are fairly similar. Both come forward fighters. Nice left hand there from Kentikian, and that really snapped the head back of Kim. And lands another right on the bell. But Kim's punch resistance is very, very good. But that was the jab. That was right above us on the ropes. More of a kind of running left hand in a way on the move as she threw it. Left hand lead. Round 9. Kentikian with the left to the body to start things off. I'm sure she would dearly love a stoppage. I mentioned that you have to go all the way back to May 2008, 6 years ago, for her last one. Had 16 stoppage wins in her first 24 fights. So she may be wondering where that finishing power, that